Alright, so what we're going to do is we're going to pull up some information. So we're going to look on this device, actually not this one, we're going to look on the Kubota that we sent you. That says it's been disconnected for 7.4 days. So I'm going to load the quick history here. It's not going to load anything just off yet, but we're going to select back to when we first powered it on to here, press go. It's going to load up all the data. So what I see off the bat, which is kind of what I talked to you about earlier today, is you've got, whenever we powered the device up locally and I put it on, this is me putting it on my power supply, it turned on just fine. So then I moved it over to my 20 volt drill battery right there, and then we took off driving for it. So it's got all this information, not a problem. Now I've disconnected the device. Now it's essentially going dead. The next morning when my wife moved it to go take it to ship, these first two contacts are really poor, low cell service. This is probably whenever you first powered the device up. Because we go look over here, we got a GPS acquired, which is from a power on event on the 18th. So you got a heartbeat and then a GPS acquired event. So that's when you would have done it. So then we see a power disconnect. Now, as soon as we see that power disconnect, we see the voltage drop. Then there's no longer any voltage because there's not power going to the device. And you can see that the backup battery had gained some power, and then you started traveling, and so then it used up that power as you were traveling down the highway. So we can actually tell this to go map. And essentially you see where we did our thing, where we drove it around. And that was that loop with the data from it. And then I go back over here to yours. And you can see where you powered it up and then started driving down to your place. And then it stopped. So I 100% believe that there is no power to the device, that somehow power has been disconnected from the device. So I would go through the wiring very thoroughly, make sure that the device is powered up. And I know on the Kubota you said it can be pretty painstakingly. A lot of times on the Kubotas, I actually wire into the back of it. I'll open the back door if it's a skid steer, like a 75. I'll wire to the back of it and use a little nut behind. There's like some fuel relay and a fuse box in the back top right corner, I believe. So that's that. And if we look back where your general's at, it looks like it saw you move 3.4 hours ago. Didn't get a whole lot of real data from it, but we're going to zoom in here to your location. We're going to turn on satellite mode, and so it just looks like you're right north of that Robb Road. I don't know where in this area you actually might be, so we'll kind of zoom out. Now, we talked about you were using the Wi-Fi to communicate with us earlier, and saying that there was low cell signal, and I kind of believe it. So we're going to pull up on the cell mapper here. This is that same area. We're going to zoom out, and as we zoom out, we get cell towers in view. Now, so these are selected on Verizon cell towers. That's what our settings are for, is to show all Verizon cell towers over here. And let's see, you are right at Robb Road, so right about there, right before it curves. So remember this location, so that's going to be very important. So when we click on the cell towers, it shows us where the antennas are pointed in the areas that it's trying to get signal to. You should still have some signal, but if the antenna is not pointed, specifically covering your area, you are going to have those dropouts and weak spots. So that's one set of Verizon towers. This one's right here is another Verizon tower, but it's probably on a frequency that's not for devices or cell phones. It's probably for some other reason. Let's see, this one, same thing. This one doesn't really cover the area. You were, again, right about where that mouse is at. This one here kind of covers that north area. This one's, again, one of the probably more of a data one. These over here look like they're just kind of aimed for that small town. Yeah, very, very limited cell phone coverage. So I think what you're actually seeing and why it appears the devices aren't working is just that there is no cell service that's decent right there. What we can do is check AT&T we'll go back here and load up an AT&T tower into our list here and just kind of see what it says the area has, because it might be a better provider. AT&T. We're not in Mexico, we're in the United States. So AT&T Mobility. Alright, so AT&T Mobility is really just covering that road so far. Yeah, that's rather poor. I'm not sure why the antennas in your area are so narrow, because usually they're more kind of like this, but in a lot larger direction. So yeah, it's unfortunate that that's how cell towers work, and that they're not going to cover a bigger area. I mean, you see like this one tower right here covers a wide swath. But again, you were right there, right where there was no cell towers aiming. So anyways, I'm gonna save this, get it uploaded online, and like I said, I think what the issues you're having is just no cell service, and the devices are going to be storing a ton of data while they're out there. There's nothing. The big problem is any tracking device you use is going to be affected the same way, unless you go to a all satellite device. Essentially, you're going to have one that gets GPS coordinates from satellite and then communicates via satellite, and that's going to be a spot trace device. If you're going to hide it, you'll have to get an additional wire in pack, because it's usually a battery operated device that you can't add a cord to, but the cord comes separate with spot trace. And then the service fees, unfortunately, are quite higher. You're going to be looking anywhere, if you want year-round service, you could be looking at 160 to 240 per year, just depending on what their rates are set at right now. So I've seen them go up and down depending on how much business they have. So, but that's pretty much what it is. So, I'll talk to you later. Bye.